Hello, welcome to the Age of Sigmar Stat Center. I'm your host, Rob. And on this Monday, we are going to review all the events from around the world. We have got 6 different countries with 242 players being represented, which is very cool, from all around the world. Canada, Scotland, Poland, England, USA, and Ireland. Several of these events are post the Battlescroll update, which we talked about on the channel last week. Now, I think the Battlescroll update might not have done loads to particularly change the shape of what the game is going to look like, but the only way that we can really work out whether or not that's true is to start looking at the event results and the lists that did well and the players that did well with it. And in this video, there's some very, very interesting insights. Sylvaneth, as an example, are doing really well, and that is pretty shocking, especially as those results are from pre the Battlescroll, where their win rate was really low. So quite interesting. If you ever want to join us on a Monday on Twitch, you should come and do so, where we record these videos and we kind of talk about the meta and some other stuff in between these. Hope you like the video. Thanks for liking, commenting, subscribing, joining Patreon, all those things. All very much appreciated. Thanks very much. Let's go look at the first event. The first event that we're going to look at today is Cake or Death, being held in New Westminster, Canada. Largest event of the weekend with 61 players battling it out in Suite 203. If you are listening to the podcast, I'm describing what looks like a reclamation centre for protesters, effectively. There were 61 players and there were only 2 5-0s. You had Matthias Crucial with his Blades of Corn and Jeremy Lemoy with his Sylvaneth. That's right, I said it. Sylvaneth army. So let's talk about the Blades of Corn. Now, don't forget, this is pre-Battlescroll, so the Claws of Karnak nerf will be in effect here, so it won't be as effective as you maybe previously thought. This is a Bloodlord's army, so it's going to be Bloodletter based, with a Slaughter Priest, Be'lakor, another Slaughter Priest, a Bloodmaster, a Bloodthirster of Unfettered Fury, with the Unrelenting Hunter, so a little bit of a command trait change there. And then the Artifact Power, Argath, the King of Blades, which turns off ward saves. And then there is a unit of Claws of Karnak there. And so now, just to be clear, this is a 2,000 point list on the nose, so you wouldn't be able to run that unit anymore. Then a unit of 30 Bloodletters, 540 points, and then 3 units of Blood Reavers in the list as well. So Khorne didn't get much of a downgrade in the latest Battlescroll update. It did have Claws of Karnak go up 20 points. And other than that, and its ability to, other than that, and the way that it's going to stop spells cast with units that are inside its army, which is going to affect Be'lakor and the Tzeentch Regiment of Renown, it's pretty much going to work the same. And there are multiple different Khorne lists. There's obviously this list. There's ones with Scarbrand. There's multiple different builds in this army. So I expect players like Matthias to be able to keep going with this army, and it being an S-tier army that it is. The other list, though, Sylvaneth. Wow. Right, the Sylvaneth got no bonuses in the latest Battlescroll update. Proving Games Workshop right here. It does show Jeremy Lemoy has absolutely brought the thunder. He's got a Heartwood army with Belthanos, Drycha Hammerdreth, an Arch Revenant, Spirit of Durthu, a Branch Witch, 3 lots of 10 Triads, and Kurnoth Hunters with Great Swords. So unit of 6. So there's a lot of melee output here. Kurnoth Hunters with great swords. Belthanos is going to give them all run and charge, which is very nice. Spirit of Durthu being able to pop between trees, which is also very, very good and do some solid damage. And then Drycha as well. So he's going to be able to put 1, 2, 3, 4 massive threats. Durthu, Belthanos, Drycha, and a Kurnoth Hunters with great swords right on your doorstep very early. Pretty decent. Loads of combat, loads of damage. Really cool. Looking at the 4-1s, and we're not going to go through those in detail, obviously, because this is pre the Battlescroll update, and most of these have got changes, like Matt Beasley's Dracothian Tales list, congratulations to him, Colin Fitzpatrick with his Ossiarch Bone Reapers, Taylor Goshen with his Maggotkin of Nurgle, which did have a sloppity blip-blop in, Eric Armstrong with his Fangs of Sotek, Bryce Coppin with his Caradron Overlords, and then Matt Slemon with his Sylvaneth Harvest Boon, which wouldn't have had a change. And then Michael Toons with his Ossiarch Bone Reapers, Thomas Back with his Ossiarch Bone Reapers, and then Chris Hall with his Cruel Boys, which is super fun, which is just 18 Bolt Boys in a list, and some other units as well. So congratulations to all those players and everyone at Cake or Death. Unfortunate time for your event to happen just before the Battlescroll or just after the Battle Scroll has landed. Not that the Battle Scroll makes that many changes, but it does affect at least one of our 5-0s and several of our 4-1s, which is quite interesting. Our next event takes us to sunny Scotland, and we're up in Glasgow, where we have got a 32-person event being organised by Richard McQuarrie. And you are, get ready for the 5-0. You're not ready for this. It's Reese Fraser with Sylvaneth again. There's 2 5-0s, 2 events, back to back. There's a story here. The thumbnail is going to have a picture of Belthanos. It's time to go. This is a different sub-faction, though. This is Winterleaf, and it's a different army in addition. It does have Belthanos in, but this has got a Lariel and the Spirit of Durthu, with the Warsinger and a Green Gladius. Then 2x5 Tree Revenants, 2x20 Dryads. I know what you're asking yourself, Rob, what the hell is going on? Well, let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, this is just a great list. 3 large threats in the list that could do some solid damage with some great recursion, thanks to a Lariel. And just brilliant. Just absolutely brilliant. Got some strike and fade. Got some fast movement from Alariel. Got some fast movement from Belthanos. You got 3 different types of way that you can move around the board. Well, you got movement, which is faster thanks to Belthanos. Then Alariel moves fast anyway, and then you got the teleporting around the board. It's happening. It's happening. Sylvaneth are on the rise. Which is absolutely fantastic stuff. Now, again, this event was pre-Battle Scroll, so just looking at the 4-1s, we've got Craig Robertson with his Ossiarch Bone Reapers, Mike Callahan with his Big War, Tom Skelton with his Maggotkin of Nurgle, Befouling Host, JJ Cropley with his Skaven, Rafal Colburn with his Seraphon Cottle's Claw, which is legit a really fun list in there as well. Congratulations to all of those players and to the tournament organisers. Hope you had a wicked weekend playing some Warhammer, but a special congratulations to Reese, because this is happening. Sylvaneth's the story of the day now. Also a special shout out to Craig, because it was his first ever 4-1, which is super cute. Well done to him. Our next event is the Northampton GT, organised by the UKTC AOS team. It was being held in a cricket stadium, it looks like. Northamptonshire Cricket Club is where it was hanging out. And we had 30 players battling it out to be the champion of the Northampton GT. And our first place goes out to Team England player and wonderful little dude, Mike Stewart, everybody. And he was running a list that you may recognise from last week or the week before, where we saw a Croak Bomb, so Starborn, and then a Starseer, Lord Croak, Astaroth Bannerbearer, and a Slan Starmaster. 10 Saurus Guard, 20 Saurus Warriors, 10 Skinks, although I think that is slightly different to the list we saw previously, which had more Saurus Guard. Malevolent Maelstrom, 8th of Void Pendulum, and then the Free Guild Command Corps that have been allied in to this list. So obviously they've got the ability to steal a command from their opponent once per turn, which is very, very effective. Heal themselves, fight, do some healing, do some other stuff as well. So congratulations to Mike. But both his list and also that unit have all got changes in the most recent Battle Scroll update. A special shout out goes out to our second place. Now, I know it's pre-Battle Scroll, but I think this is absolutely fantastic. This is Orpheus. Now, Orpheus is only, I think Orpheus is 13, but he might be 12. But shout out to Orpheus. Well done to you, you superstar. Going 4 and a draw. Absolutely stunning stuff at this event. He drew his first match. I think he drew it with Ben Adlam, but congratulations to him. And in his list, he's running a Legion the First Prince list from Slaves to Darkness with Be'lakor, Chaos Sorcerer Lord, and then an Ogroid Mimrodon. That's right, an Ogroid Mimrodon. You've never seen one of those on the table in your life, let alone going 4-1. Then 9 Ogroid Therodons, 9 Spire Tyrants, 8 Signs of the Flame, which is a unit of each. A Chaos Chariot, and then 10 Chaos Warriors, a Soulscream Bridge, and 10 Chaos Chosen. So he has 2 major threats here in the Chosen and the Therodons. He's got Be'lakor to be able to shut down the enemy who potentially could charge him in. And then he's got an Ogroid Mimrodon for I do not know what. And some Chaos Warriors for holding an objective, because they're Nurgle, so they're -1 to be wound, a Rodent Icon, so ignore Rem 1. Absolutely stunning. What a list. What a list. The young man coming through. Congratulations to Orpheus. Get loads of love for Orpheus in the comments, in the chat. If we could just hype it up. Absolutely. Round of applause for Orpheus. In the 4-1 section, we've got Luke Skelton. Doesn't see what he's saying. Luke Churches playing with his Lethician Defenders. Great job. Thomas Chloros, who's Orpheus' dad, with his Nighthaunt Emerald host list. Chris Riley with his Fire Slayers in the list as well. Isn't that the best dad-son tournament performance ever? I don't know if this is the best dad-son performance ever, because we have got Natty and Damien, who's the other father-son combo on the team, at least in the UK, and they're both excellent. Also, a little shout-out, I'll just include it now. I've made it so that the TSN Arena events that I hold in Nottingham, that kids can play for free. Now, there's a little stipulation on that obviously you have to come along and play with your kid, so it's you and your kid, and that kid has to competently be able to play games of Warhammer on their own. So anyone kind of sub 16 though, like, they have to be able to play a game of Warhammer competently on their own without assistance. So it's not a creche, but I have made that statement before. So if you ever want to, bring your son or your daughter to an event and play along with them, then you are welcome to do so. Let me know ahead of time. And then contact me. But both Natty is a phenomenal player and Orpheus, excellent player as well. And seeing the young people playing at events is super cool. So we should try to encourage that as tournament organisers. And I encourage other tournament organisers, if they get the chance, to do the same. Again, I'm not running a creche, so don't drop your kids off. I don't want them. But if your kid wants to play, you should bring them along for the weekend, which I think would be quite cool. Thanks, Dabbod, for resubscribing. The next event that we're going to look at is using the new Battlescroll. That's right. Shout out to our brave hero, LaRon Roberts, organising an event in Missouri. He's organising the Midwest Bash 2024. And excitingly, that is taking place at Game Night, spelled game and then Nite. Absolutely bold choice. Now, as I understand it, clocks were heavily enforced at this venue, mainly because next to the venue, Game Night, they were sponsored by Helen's Clock Repair, which is a venue that's next door. They have sponsored all of the chess clocks, so time was tightly kept at this event, and it was a very serious affair. Looking at the event results, we can see that Tyler Emerson, with his Soulblight Gravelords, Legion and the Night Army, had a draw and then 4 wins. And so if we take a look at what's in the list, it's Legion of Night with Manfred von Karstein and all of the spicy stuff that Manfred can bring. Charging your opponent's turn, always strikes first, do some damage, do some teleports, because it's Legion of the Night, loads of cool stuff. Luca in there, reducing Ren down, being able to have the hunger. Manfred's got the hunger so they don't die. Vampire Lord and a Necromancer. And then 3 Foulbats, 3 Fargies, 10 Direwolves, 10 Deathroller Skeletons, 20 Deadwalker Zombies, and then a big unit of 20 Graveguard with the Aether Void Pendulum and Suffocating Gravetide. So with the Graveguard, Luca, Vi, and Manfred all being able to do a ton of damage, and then the rest of the stuff getting in the way, you can really see how this army would play. Looking at the 4-1s, let me tell you, Missouri, Game Night, you're my favourite new meta. It's absolutely wild. Jake Bentrup with Idneth Deepkin Iron Rack. He's rocking an Achillean King with your classic Unstoppable Fury and Void Chill Darkness to make what we would call the Slap King. And then an Eidolon, Aspect of the Storm. Also fine bit of Wizard support in there as well. Nothing bad, especially some good anti-magic. Then 6 Morsar Guard, another 6 Morsar Guard for a bit of classic Big Eel energy. 3 lots of Namati Reavers for some good medium kind of like mid-board shooting. Quite a lot of shots out of 30 Namati Reavers, to be honest. But then we flip the script and we spend 340 points on Neve, Black Talon, and Black Talon's companions. Oh boy, mixing it up and bringing in a new wave because it's Idneth, of ideas to the mix. You weren't expecting that. Shout out to Jake Bentrup. Eli Sweat, alias Sweet, was running Beast of Chaos Dark Walkers, and let me tell you, you are about to be shocked. You're about to be shocked by what's in his list. Let's have a look. So he has got a Beast of Chaos Dark Walkers list with Great Brave Shaman, Beast of Chaos Angor Shaman, Grashrak Fellhoof, and Magister the Coven of Thrix. Then he's got 10 Ungor, 10 more Ungor, 10 more Unger, and then he's got 2 lots of 10 Ungor Raiders. Okay. Then he's got 6 Beasts of Chaos Angor Enlightened on foot. He's got another unit of them. Then he's got 6 Beasts of Chaos Angor Enlightened on disc. And then he's got the Horrors of Tzeentch because he's got the Coven of Thrix. And then he's got all 3 endless spells. So he's dumping the other spells. He's got pink horrors in the mix. He's got a great wizard. Then he's got some on-foot melee units in the Zangor that are super cheap. And he's got a really fast unit in the Zangor Enlightened on disc. Then he's got units of Ungor for screening and or grabbing objectives. Ungor Raiders for shooting stuff off the side of the board. Don't forget he's playing Beast of Chaos. So he's going to be able to do mortal wounds off the board. He's going to be able to pull screens out the way they weren't expecting. Stunning. Absolutely stunning. Then watch what happens in this next 4-1 from David Erger. He then flipped the script on the Gloomspite Gits list. You're thinking, Rob, 2 lots of 15 Boingrot Bounders, right? A couple of units of Stabbers. Get ready. No. King's Gits, Rabble Rouser, Grinkrak the Great, and Scragrot. Okay, that makes sense. Make your army go fast with the Rabble Rouser. Grinkrak for Fight on Death, Scragrot for the spell support, and obviously what you can bring to the moon. Then 3 lots of 20 Moonclan Shooters. Okay, fair. Simple battle line, no messing around. Yeah, grabbing some objectives, doing some shooting. 2 lots of 3 Fell Water Troggoths. Okay, very interesting. The Gobblepalooza, and then a Marshcrawler Sloggoth, and then 3 lots of 5 Loon Smasher Fanatics. So the way I see this list working is you have 3 lots of your Moonclan Shooters. Behind them are the Fell Waters. So if you charge at the shooters, then you're going to get sicked on by the Fell Waters that are going to reduce your save. Then out pop the Fanatics, and the Fanatics hit you first and wipe out your key pieces. That's the way it works. And then you've got some spells coming from the other units as well. And after you've done that, use a Rabble Rouser, yeet everything forward, and get in the fight. Crazy stuff. Super fun. Love that. It's really cool. Andrew Robinson was our final 4-1 at the event with his Soulblight Gravelords Vrykros Dynasty. He had Nagash. Now, he has had a points reduction. Is he back? A lot of people have been saying it online. They're saying 40 points is a massive reduction, and he's back because of it. I've said that you wouldn't run Nagash at plus 40 points. Why would you play him at minus 40 points? And the answer is, don't know, Rob. I've bought into the hype. And that's the response. But, however, in this situation, Nagash has got a 4-1. Belladama and a White King on Skeletal Steed. And then a unit of Deadwalker Zombies twice. 2 lots of 20. A unit of Direwolves. And then a unit of Black Knights. And then the Umbral Spell Portal. And the Malevolent Maelstrom. Okay, pretty interesting. Pretty interesting stuff. You've got those objective-grabbing zombies. You've got Direwolves as well. You're going to pop out Vrykros. Going to pop out even more Direwolves. And then you've got Nagash just handed us in units off. Just having the best time. Really good. You got some move blocking thanks to summoning, and also Belladama's spell. Some really interesting things. Listen, I haven't been to Missouri yet, but I'm going because that sounds like the most fun place to play Warhammer. I have done Missouri and the Midwest Bash a absolute disservice, and I've ignored Daniel Pitt. Daniel, don't worry, don't get down in the pits about this. I've got your back. He also went 4-1, and he is running a super fun Castelli Soulblight Gravelords list with Prince Vordry, great combat piece, Vengori Lord, great combat piece, and support to Prince Vordry as the general. Then 2 units of Blood Knights, which have got cheaper in the Battlescroll update, so we're seeing that have an immediate effect in the meta. 2 lots of 10 Death Rattle Skeletons, 2 units of a Skurgan True Blades, which are a hot pick right now in Soulblight Gravelords, and 2 units of Vargheists. No one was expecting it. No one could have thought it was going to happen. Daniel Pitt has done it. It's going. It's happening. Well done. The next event that we're going to look at is Grognard Games times the Broken Ranks GT, being held in Illinois and organised by Jake Caché-Meur. And it was being organised at Grognard Games, right next to Bill's Diner. I got a shout out from everyone at Bill's Diner that went for lunch. So massive love to all of those guys. I wouldn't mind a quick cheeky review of Char Kebabs, though, in the future. Let's have a look at the 4-1s, and because we didn't have any 5-0s. And if we just take a quick look at the 5-0s, at the 4-1s, we'll see that Kevin Engel with his Seraphon Kotal's Claw was able to go 4-1. And then Frankie Greco with his Ossiarch Bone Reapers was also able to go 4-1 as well. Now, the Seraphon list is quite interesting because it's obviously post the Battlescroll, and I think a lot of the Seraphon community have been discussing the fact that the change to their Gulping Bites might negatively affect them. Also, Coalesced and not, Croak Bomb Starborn has been performing much worse than the Croak Bomb version, as we saw earlier when Mike won an event with Croak and the Croak Bomb. So doing quite well with an army that's got like a 10 to 12% differential difference in sub-factions is actually quite impressive, so should be quite impressed. So I saw a Scarvet on Agrodon, a Skink Oracle on Troglodon, a Skink Starseer, 2x6 Agrodon Lancers, another unit of Agrodon Lancers, and a Bastildon with the Ark of Sotek, and then the Free Guild Command Corps and the Hunters of Honchi. Now, I don't want to say that the Free Guild Command Corps is that effective, but the fact that even at a 30-point increase, he's been included and helping a list of Seraphon also do well. So even though we're seeing Starborn and we're seeing Coalesced both do well, both of them are having support from the Cities of Sigmar Free Guild Command Corps. Just to point out how good the Free Guild Command Corps is. And shout out for Matt G for setting a trend there, because that's definitely true. So yeah, really, really interesting. Our OCR Bone Reapers list is Mortis Praetorian, so we're going to be able to charge in our opponent's turn with Catacross, Mortis and Ossifector, and then 5 Death Riders, 10 Mortek Guard, 10 more Mortek Guard, 6 of Mortis Guard, and then the Archai, 2 units of Morghast Archai. There's really not much to say here at this point. We know how this army works. It's got great saves. It's got some good recursion still. It's got counter charge. It's got the ability to turn off command abilities with the Archai. Mortek Guard is just great, and even you have to commit quite a bit just to kill some of Mortis Guard. Super annoying. And Mortis Guard, the Mortek Guard, and you've got to commit a lot to kill some of Mortis Guard. So just very, very effective. Great event. Looks like it's super fun, and shout out to the organisers for sending me videos. Turns out we missed an event, which is super understandable because it wasn't kept on Best Coast Pairings. Instead, it's kept on Championship Hub AOS. So thank you to Musha in the chat, who was able to share this with me and let everyone know that there was a large event in Poland this weekend, post-Battlescroll, with 32 players. I think it was 32 players. No, 50 players. 50 players, making it one of our biggest events this weekend, all using the new Battlescroll. It was being held at a mall in Poland. It was next to 2 larger cities, but they decided to hold it in a slightly smaller city because it was much roomier. 11 out of 10. Also, I'm about to read through the list and also congratulate the players. I don't speak Polish, and I am very sorry for what's going to happen. I apologize to everyone in Poland right now. I'm so sorry. I'm going to say it with my chest, but let's go. So in first place, with a 5-0, was Thomas with his Blades of Corn. So he was from Krakow. It does say where the players are from. It's quite fun. And he was running a Realm Gore Ritualist, a Bloodmaster. This is all in the Skullfiend tribe subfaction. A Slaughter Priest, a Bloodstoker, Scar Bloodwrath, and another Bloodsecrator. The Bloodmaster was his general, and it did have Argath, the King of Blades. And then there was 4 units of Blood Reavers for some multiple small units Blood Tithe generation. Then there was 2 units of Untamed Beast for some pre-game move kind of screening out, which probably will be the de facto switch from using the Claws of Karanak. And then there was a unit of a big brick of 10 Skull Reapers and 2 units of Wrathmongers. So there's the ability to generate a lot of attacks on the Blood Reavers, thanks to the Wrathmongers and also the other buffs you can get inside Khorne. So potentially you could turn them into very fragile melee threats. And then obviously you've got the Skull Reapers, and then you have all of the control that you're able to bring from all of those different priests with all of the different spells. So congratulations to Thomas. In the 4-1s, and again, before I start, I'm going to apologise, is Oscar with his Skaven. So Oscar's Skaven has got a Plague Priest on Plague Furnace, a Grey Seer on Screaming Bell, a Plague Priest, a Grey Seer on Screaming Bell, and Skabic Plague Seeker, and a Grey Seer. Then he has a unit of Clan Rats, ×2, and then a unit of big Plague Censer Bearers, another unit of Plague Censer Bearers, and then the Soul Scream Bridge. Now don't forget the kind of key takeaway that whenever you're playing against Skaven at the minute is Skabic's Plague Seeker and his pack. Effectively, they're controlling an objective. Unless you take them off the objective, they're always going to control it, no matter how many models you have on the objective. So they're going to be able to use some of those larger models to screen objectives and make it so you can't get to Skabic, and therefore you aren't going to be able to grab that objective, as well as being able to summon Vermin Lords from the Grey Seers on Screaming Bells, as well as doing lots of damage, and, well, phenomenal damage from the Plague Censer Bearers. So, just stunning. And Marius is running a Nurgle list in Befouling Host. He's got Blobe, Morbidex, the Glockkin, and a Poxbringer, and Gutrot Spume, with 3 lots of 10 Plague Bearers and a unit of Rotmire Creed. Post the Battle Scroll, I'm unsurprised to see some little different changes in this list, but I'm also not surprised that the core element or the main points that have been spent on Nurgle lists are going to be things like, obviously, Morbidex and Blobe and the Glockkin. They're just 3 big monsters with great ward saves, with access to heroic actions, with access to healing, with access to good combat. Countercharge from the Glockkin, still going to work great on the Plague Bearers. Love the inclusion of the Rotmire Creed to stack up and quickly tick up how much plague tokens you're sticking on units. Just think it's really good. Plus, you've got great summoning in addition to that as well. Christoph is running Idoneth Deepkin, and he is just running a shark list with not quite as many sharks, because he's got 2 units of Reavers, but it's sharks and a Leviathan, which he went 4-1 post Battlescroll, so that means they're not doing exploding 6s now, they're now doing auto wounds on 6s. The math on that isn't quite as good, but as you can see, still very effective as he sits there in a 4-1 spot. Camille is running King's Gits with Madcap Shaman, 2 lots of 15 Boingrot Bounders, 2 lots of Stabbers, the Gobblepalooza, and some Loon Smashing Fanatics. This is a absolute archetype now as a Gloomspite Gits list. You have 2 blocks of Stabbers, your opponent tries to charge them, then you throw out some Fanatics that are going to eat them up, and you charge over the top with 2 units of 15 Boingrots. If you lose any of those 2 big blocks of 15 Boingrot Bounders, which are half of your army, nearly 1,000 points, you're in King's Gits, so you've got a double chance to roll back and get 8 of those models back. And 8 Boingrot Bounders is still a legit threat on the board. So very, very, very effective. Excellent list as well. Milos, with his Seraphon, was running a Skink Oracle on Troglodon, a Starseer, a Star Priest, Croak, and Astaroth Bannerbearer, but didn't bring along the Slann, because now that they aren't able to generate extra points because of the because of the change to the Space Folder staff, the change to the Lord of Celestial Resonance, which is the command trait, instead elected not to take the Slann, and instead has gone for a Skink Oracle on Troglodon instead. A unit of Saurus Guard, big brick of Saurus Guard as well, so it's 15. 2 units of Raptor Chargers, 8th Void Pendulum, and Malevolent Maelstrom. So just saving yourself points now by not having a Slann on the board, and Croak doing all of the spell casting and generating you lots of points makes a lot of sense. So that might be what we see Seraphon look like post Battlescroll. I think that's genuinely very interesting, in my personal opinion. Then we have Mikau with his Skaven. This is a Master Molder, a Warlock Bombardier, 3 Grey Seers, and then Slink Skitterstrank, 2 lots of 4 Rat Ogres, 2 lots of 10 Gutter Runners, 1 lot of Gutter Runners, 2 lots of Night Runners, and then 2 Doom Wheels. And I think there's nothing to say about this list other than Mikau is obviously a genius. That's it. That's the best Skaven list I've read in a long time, with 3 Grey Seers, in a double battle reg with 2 Doom Wheels. Absolutely perfect. Playing in a Polish meta, Poland is an excellent place to play Warhammer. The games are solid, they play fair, they play well, they're very good on the tabletop. Very, very good team that goes to Worlds. Probably a wonderful place to go play Warhammer. So congratulations to all of them. Our last event is only a small event, 12 players over in Ireland. Let me just double check. Yes, over in Ireland, called the Panic GT. And our event was won by Richard Flood with his Reapers of Vengeance, Magister in the Coven of Thrix, Slaughter Priest, Scar Bloodwrath, Scarbrand, Bloodthirster, and Sense of Rage, Bloodmaster, some Blood Reavers, the Claws of Karanak at the upgraded cost, some Pink Horrors in the list as well, Garrick's Reavers, Wrathmongers, and obviously all the endless spells because of the Coven of Thrix. So no surprise to me there. Well done to Richard. Absolutely excellent. So in review, there is an interesting meta this week that we have covered on the Age of Sigmar Stats Center. The big takeaways is that Khorne, which was already an S-tier army pre the Battlescroll, is still an S-tier army, taking multiple 5-0 slots, appearing in multiple 4-1 slots as well. I'm unsurprised to see that because they had effectively no changes, and they were arguably one of the best, if not the best army out there, and they're still there, and they're still doing really well. The big surprise, though, is Sylvaneth, especially from the events that were pre-Battlescroll. We saw multiple 5-0s, and we saw several 4-1s as well. So I'm really surprised to see that, and that's actually really cool, and it's going to definitely have a lot of people talking and thinking about stuff this week, because it might get more Sylvaneth armies on the tabletop, and more Sylvaneth armies on the tabletop means more results with them. So it becomes like a snowball effect, which could become really interesting. Do I think that's going to happen? I don't know. That's a great question. I'm kind of interested in where that's going to be, but like we'll have to find out in the future. Khorne though, and Khorne and Sylvaneth feel like the stories from this week, but there's some sneaky sleeper stories. There's some really interesting lists that we've seen from Skaven. Soulblight still going very, very strong, which is not really a surprise. Their core mechanics that make them good, like the hunger and the res, is still there, which is not a surprise to me. Which I think is gonna keep being interesting. The Idoneth Deepkin definitely, while their meta population is slow, they still post results fairly consistently. There's been some notable misses this week. Some of the Skaven factions, some of the Chaos factions are missing. There's no Stormcast that we've been knocking around or seeing as well. But all of those still have very viable potentials to perform. I would say, especially with things like we're seeing with Sylvaneth or Nighthorn doing okay. We saw a Nighthorn 4-1. Doing okay this week. I would say that there's still room for many of the armies, even the ones that are on the lowest kind of win reps, to do well and possibly win events, which is a great place for a game to be post Battlescroll. It's a great place for a game to be. So I think everyone should be pretty excited about that going forward as we move into, the next 3-4 months and the end of Age of Sigmar. We've still got loads of other armies to come out. We've got Regiments of Renown coming from Death. We've still got Cities and Flesh Eater Courts ready to hit the tables. Cities obviously have been hitting the tables quite a bit, but we're still very early into that production meta. And then we have all of the Regiments of Renown. Belthanos has featured pretty heavily. So Armies of Renown, Regiments of Renown. Belthanos has featured heavily in the win rates. So it's going to be very interesting. Hope you've enjoyed the video. I want to thank all the podcast. I want to thank everyone on the Twitch chat for hanging out with me, and everyone on the Wargamer Patreon, which you can join our Discord gang if you want, which would be super cool of you. And that would be really great. So thank you to everyone. I hope you're all having a great time, and I hope you have a great week playing Age of Sigmar.